There are two master plans we're going to look at. One of them's going really successful. The other one is kind of shockingly not successful. The first one, the Ferrari master plan, is going quite well. Charles Leclerc is on pole. He had 2 poles last year, one at Monaco and one at Azerbaijan. He starts the season off with a pole position. Now, remember last year who the pole sitter was for the Bahrain Grand Prix to start off the season? That was Max Verstappen. You know how that season ended for him. Obviously, it's only one race, one qualifying session, so we don't want to, decide the championship now. I'm just overreacting to qualifying, the first qualifying session of the season, but it was so fun. There were a lot of surprises, and boy, oh boy, let's talk about the other plan. The Mercedes master plan. And that plan is sign George Russell, young talent, high expectations, win your 9th Constructors title, that kind of thing. In the first qualifying session of the year, the part of the Mercedes master plan. Sandbag for practice, for testing. Make everyone think you're going to suck when everyone thinks you're not going to suck. Qualify behind Valtteri Bottas. Wait a second, what? That's right, you heard me right. George Russell, who replaced Valtteri Bottas at Mercedes, was outqualified by Valtteri Bottas in an Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo finished 9th in the Constructors last year. Brand new car this year, yes, but Bottas outqualified George Russell and was 1 position behind Lewis Hamilton. What is happening? And this is not even to mention a Haas car made Q3. What's happening, people? We knew this new car could have some unpredictability. But oh my gosh, this is incredible. I love Bottas. And my opinion, I feel like he kind of got screwed at that end of the deal with the whole Mercedes thing and how he left or how he was asked to leave, whatever it was. I felt like he deserved some more time there. He was a part of winning 5 Constructors Championships. Like, no disrespect to George Russell. He's a good driver. Mercedes is going to have him one day. He's going to win races, that kind of thing. But I felt like Bottas deserved better. And this is, I know it's only one qualifying session at the beginning of the year, but we're going to overreact and be happy for just 5 minutes. But Bottas out-qualifying the guy who replaced him. I know Mercedes isn't on their top form to what they've been the past few years, but I'm so happy for Bottas. I hope he sleeps great tonight knowing that he beat the car that he drove last year in the Alpha. But a really exciting qualifying session. We saw the positives and negatives, or I guess the good, bad, and ugly for multiple teams. Let's go through the results first, and then we will get to, I guess, more of an in-depth talking about. So Charles Leclerc is on pole for the first time since Azerbaijan of 2020. He won the pole here in 2019. On the front row with him is the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. Verstappen looked quick all weekend, but Leclerc just edged him out by 1/10 of a second. Carlos Sainz up in 3rd, so a Ferrari 1-3 in qualifying. Ferrari, they're looking like they might be back. Sainz looked good through Q3 especially. He was on the pole for a good bit, but Leclerc and Verstappen got him there just at the end. Sergio Perez in 4th, a great qualifying session for him. So we got Ferrari, Red Bull, Ferrari, Red Bull. Lewis Hamilton in 5th for Mercedes. I truly thought Mercedes was just sandbagging and that they were going to come out and sweep the front row or something or get one of their cars in first. What Ferrari did, a first, third, with maybe Verstappen or Leclerc splitting them. But Lewis Hamilton 5th, 6/10 off the Ferrari, 5/10 off of Verstappen and Sainz, 3/10 off of Perez. I mean, boy, oh boy, they got some work to do. Bottas in 6th, a second off the pace. Kevin Magnussen, 7th. The Haas in 7th. They had both Haas's made it out of Q1 for the first time, I think they said, since 2019. The best performance in qualifying for Haas since, I think they said, Germany of 2019. Haas is looking good, especially compared to last year. I mean, anything would be better than last year, but is Haas... What's up with that? I mean, they're looking pretty good. And also, 8th, Fernando Alonso. Not too bad there for Alpine. I'd say that's about where they are last year. Oh, I saw the TV on. Christian Horner's talking. I don't know what he's saying. Ninth, George Russell. They said that he had a bad turn 1. I think he missed the apex of the turn in his final run in Q3, so that probably hurt him a bit. But ninth in his Mercedes, not his Mercedes debut, but his full-time Mercedes debut. Definitely not what he was wanting. Pierre Gasly made it to Q3, so he is 10th on the grid. So yeah, we had what? We had 7 teams in Q3. The only teams that put forth 2 drivers were Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari. Now going on to the guys who made it to Q2, Esteban Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Lando Norris, Alex Albon, Guan Yu Zhou, or Zhou Guan Yu, and then the Q3 guys who got knocked down Q3, Yuki Tsunoda, Nico Hülkenberg, who's replacing Sebastian Vettel, who got COVID and will not be able to race this weekend. Hope he's doing all right. Daniel Ricciardo, Lance Stroll, and Nicholas Latifi. So yeah, looking at the team side of things, obviously Ferrari and Red Bull look red hot right now, sweeping the first 2 rows. Mercedes, you know, they don't look awful. They didn't completely fall off the edge of the earth or anything, but they don't look as dominant as they normally are. You know, even last year, at times when they didn't look as dominant, when Red Bull was dominating races, they were still able to get a car on the podium. They were still able to be in that 4th, maybe even 5th at worst, with that worst performance coming at Monaco with Lewis in 7th and Valtteri Bottas not finishing due to the bad pit stop. So, you know, 5th and 9th is shocking for Mercedes. But some other standouts in qualifying, obviously Haas, much improved than last year, you know, making it to Q3 in their first race of the season with Kevin Magnussen. His first race back since 2020, and he's in Q3. That's amazing. That's incredible. Mick Schumacher, that's got to be his best qualifying session of his career, 12th. So great for him. Some other notables in the bad side of things, McLaren looked very off. I had them 4th in Constructors preseason, and that is not looking great right now. 13th for Lando Norris and 18th for Daniel Ricciardo. Ricciardo missed one of the practice sessions due to they had some type of issue going on with the car. He missed last week at testing in Bahrain because of COVID. And Lando Norris, he did better than Ricciardo this weekend clearly, but 13th, still not great, especially compared to last year when they qualified 6th and 7th in this qualifying session at Bahrain a year ago. So McLaren struggling a good bit in this opening qualifying session. Some other notables, Aston Martin not looking good, 17th and 19th. Williams 14th and 20th. But yeah, I think that's all. I think Bottas and Magnussen have to be the standout guys in this qualifying session. Both significantly out-qualified their teammates. They both made it to Q3 for their teams who didn't make it to Q3 many times last year or not at all. And then obviously the top teams are being the most talked about right now, which is Red Bull and Ferrari, and then Mercedes. Is this the end of an era? I don't know. I still think they'll pick it up at some point, but it's quite the thought. Is this the end of Mercedes? But it was such a fun qualifying session. F1 qualifying is always like so fun because you never know what's gonna happen. The wildest things happen. Someone will put down, like last year at Jeddah, Verstappen was putting down the fastest lap, hit the wall. But yeah, F1 qualifying always thrilling. So Ferrari looking like they're back. Bottas beating the guy who replaced him in an Alfa Romeo. What a qualifying session. So yeah. We'll talk about the race tomorrow, obviously. We'll talk about the NASCAR race tomorrow. I mean, I'm so blown away by this qualifying session. But, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for another video. Make sure to leave a like here. Subscribe to the channel if you want to talk more about racing, that kind of thing. And, yeah, see you tomorrow.